gotta hop back into Outriders since I mean that's what I see on my screen right now. With the Worldslayer stuff, I'm interested to see how that goes.
I'm not against
Um,
it. I got a vid coming out tonight that where I talked about it for a brief second where I said I thought it was mid. But the thing is, like
yeah,
the co-op made it work for me.
yeah,
Like it definitely
yeah.
made it work. So yeah, I'm not against it. I'm still for it. How much is the multiplayer World Slayer with that girl in it?
Oof.
That's supposed to be
I
the
don't know. I think 40. So
40. That sounds about right.
yeah.
That sounds yeah.
I will say we got to jump in for some of the post game stuff. The expeditions. I did one on my own
Okay.
for Outriders for the expedition, and it's basically horde mode. It's like get to this location, guard this artifact, then get to this location, guard this artifact, beat these creatures, beat a big one, and then you get the doodad. Like that's that, at least the first one that I played. That's what it was.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, it was cool. Just like you're in this like kind of small area, and here comes just a horde of enemies. Good luck. And it was like a nice mix of enemies. They had some big ones in there, with some of the little ones, and it was a little stressful because I was on my own. But like,
Okay.
I managed it.
So you
So
really like this game, Nick. You never uninstalled
it
it?
was cool. Yeah, I didn't uninstall it. It's cool. I mean, shooter, third person, and you got like superpowers.
Yeah.
So like, it's a
The
lot of my
powers
check
were fun.
boxes.
I
Yeah,
will admit it was fun setting people on fire. I had the is he called the I don't know. It was the fire guy.
pyromancer.
Pyromancer. I almost
Yeah,
said Tinkerer, but I'm like that's not. I'm like no.
yeah. Nah,
But
I had Ooh, I don't even remember what mine is called anymore. But I could
you had the
teleport.
instant
Uh,
transmission dude, like whatever his name was.
yeah.
He was instant transmission everywhere.
So that
Um,
gameplay is fun, keeping track of where enemies are because you just like pop up to the other side of the screen.
yeah.
Uh,
It was still
yeah.
it's still fun. It's still a cool game. My issue was I didn't understand what was going on with Professor X and Star Lord in the story when they had those people. They had people like yes, it was still Square Enix and they were still working on Guardians of the Galaxy and other the other games and stuff
Uh huh.
like it looked like they were borrowing assets from it,
Yeah.
and I kept thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy whenever I saw the one dude who died. I forgot his name. I don't want to say because it's probably spoilers anyway. But and then the one girl got
Yeah.
into the wheelchair. The first thing I started thinking was Professor X because she still technically had powers, but then she didn't. But it just kept changing. Like the story just kept changing. I
Yeah.
was just
There's
like when we
it
got to the
rushes.
final boss, I was just like he kind of just appeared. Like other bosses
Uh huh.
beforehand who had some story, like we get to certain points and we killed them, and then it was just like it just kept going.
Also, the final boss is not who the final boss should have been.
Yeah,
Uh, Compared to a previous fight, and then like the story just like it was like towards the end, it got like rushed. Like it felt like somebody was really taking their time, like a little too much time,
yeah.
and going into too much detail for like 15 chapters, and then like the publisher was like, "Yo, your book can only be 16 chapters long," and they're like, "Well, let's wrap up what we can." So like it moved pretty fast, and then of course the game has its not game breaking for the most part. Like one issue I had was a game breaking bug,
Okay.
uh, where for the character I would like teleport or do something, and then it wouldn't load me in, so I couldn't shoot or do anything, but the enemies could somehow still see me, and like it was just I just had to lose. But other
Okay.
stuff was like I don't know if I noticed from this gameplay footage. There's a whole part where my guns are invisible as I'm
Uh,
using them. So I was able to use them and everything. It was just they were
you couldn't
completely
see them.
invisible.
Okay.
Yep. So it has this little. It needs more polishing. And then of course some of it feels a bit repetitive, and then uh, guns themselves like all just like it doesn't feel weighty like amongst some of them, but like it
Right.
was fine. Like and I think like you said, playing the game through with somebody else helps
It makes
a
it
lot.
better. It makes
Yeah.
it better. It made Zombie Army a lot better too.
Yeah.
Zombie Army is somewhat fun, and the enemy there, I don't even know if we can say his name. We probably shouldn't. The
Nah.
enemy in Zombie
But
Army is like, at least we know who he was, and he's lasted the whole time, and it was kind of understood who the enemy was to an extent.
uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm not opposed to jumping back in Outriders again. I would definitely have to do it as co-op because I don't see it as a game I would want to play as much on my own like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think co-op makes it fun, especially when you have your set of powers and then your co-op person, one or two other people, they got their set of powers, and then you're sort of like using them together. It's like that's when
Yeah.
you're doing like the X-Men stuff and the Avengers type stuff to an
Yeah.
extent, and that's when it really becomes fun. But
Like
it's
a
like,
friend of mine, she had like a shield that she can put up that just
yeah,
caught bullets and would shoot them back at the enemies after collecting a bunch of them. So she would just hold the shield up, and I would stand behind her and like shoot and everything, and then the other guy, he had like a turret that he made that would shoot back at the enemies while we're not getting hit because she's catching all the bullets. Then she shoots it back at them, and whoever's standing, I just teleport right behind them and take them out. So like
nice.
it was cool doing the power stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm not writing Worldslayer out. I am interested as long as we do it as co-op. And we ain't got to go to it right away, but yeah, it's still on the radar.
Oh yeah, we'll
Um
get to it eventually.